I want you to come into the room and I want you to sit straight up, arms down, and just allow the tension to melt through your body. As you come in the room, I want you to start beginning to let hope arise within your heart. Even if it's a seed, I want you to let it to arise in your heart. I want you to imagine that you're in a garden. Your heart is this garden, and you're going in a garden and you're uprooting all the weeds that have overgrown in your garden. I want you to get your little mini shovel and your gloves and your little outfit. I want you to imagine this. You putting your hands on your arms, you putting your hands on your hips, and you're asking yourself, how did these weeds get here? I just tended to the garden yesterday. How many of you know weeds grow without permission? That's kind of what happened when life happens. The weed of hopelessness, despair, and unbelief, they just grow. That disappointment, the job you didn't get, the relationship didn't go right, or maybe you messed up, or you was doing so good in healing your childhood trauma, and then something came up and boom, you exploded. And instead of you looking at that as a trigger that you could welcome more healing to come in, you looked at it as if something was wrong. Maybe something happened today, maybe it happened yesterday, I don't know when it happened. But I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine that the disappointment, the despair, the bad news, the bills piling up, not having enough money, the childhood trauma explosive event that happened, shame came back in, guilt came back in, and I want you to imagine yourself putting your gloves on in the garden, and you're seeing all of this. You're seeing a disappointment. That's a weed. You're seeing a despair. You're seeing the explosive moment and turns into shame because you suppressed it and you didn't want to deal with it. And I want you to imagine yourself, you're going in the garden and you're uprooting hopelessness. You're uprooting despair. You're uprooting all these weeds that is in your garden and have been here. And I want you to watch yourself putting those weeds inside of a bag. You're putting them inside of a bag. Breathe in. Breathe out. But now you got a weed, and this weed is unbelief. And you're tugging, and you're tugging, and you're tugging. And it's not coming up. So now you go get a bigger shovel, and you're digging deep, and you thinking to yourself, how deep is this unbelief? And you're digging, and you're digging. And you put your foot deep inside of that shovel. And you finally hit it. And you begin to pull again. And it's looser. It's looser. Then you go back to your shovel. And you stomp it again. And it's finally loose. And you're just pulling it up. And you thinking to yourself, how deep was this unbelief? How deep was the despair? How deep was the hopelessness? How long have I been watering this? And as I'm talking, I want you to imagine this deeper and deeper. And you finally got to it. I want you to imagine yourself looking at this unbelief. And you're saying, I no longer give you permission to be in my heart. And you throw it inside your bag. And now I want you to imagine yourself going inside of your cape, your cloth, whatever it is. And you're planting a new seed of belief. You're planting a new seed of appointments that you missed. You're planting new seeds of hope and expectation. And you're doing it with a smile because you're so excited that you got a new seed now. You're no longer dependent on hopelessness and despair and unbelief. And you pat it down. And then you put your hands on your hips. And you watch all your weed work that you have uprooted. And the new seeds of hope, the new seeds of belief, the new seeds of faith that you just planted. And I want you to watch yourself go inside the garbage. And you dump it in the garbage. Then I want you to get your water fountain. Now this water fountain is different. It's not just a water pail. It's the Word of God. And I want you to begin to go in your garden and speak the Word of God. Repeat after me. I decree and declare Jeremiah 29:11. For God knows the plans that He has for me, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper me. Plans to give me a hope and give me a future. I have a hope. I have a future. I want you to decree and declare this one. I will wait patiently for the Lord with hope and expectation, that as I wait on Him, He will renew my strength, that I will soar on my wings like eagles, that I will run and not be weary, I will walk and not faint. And I want you to understand that that seed of new hope is on the horizon. And every single day, where you plant this new seed of hope, you plant this new seed of expectation, that you will speak the Word of God daily. Now, I want you to look at your garden and just be so happy of the new harvest that you're going to begin to see. A harvest of hope and great expectation. Congratulations. You will begin to hope and begin again.